The room went silent the moment they said it. It was like every breath was sucked from the air, every heartbeat paused. In a packed military tribunal, beneath unforgiving white lights and judgmental eyes, they demanded she be stripped of everything she'd earned, her name, her honor, her rank, and at the center of it all, Commander Elise Warner stood tall. Despite the tremor in her hands, knowing that whatever happened next would define her life, what she didn't know was that someone far more powerful had already decided her fate. Before I tell you what happened next, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I love knowing who's listening. Elise had served with distinction for 19 years. She led rescue missions that defied logic. She saved lives, including some of her own accusers. But the moment one report claimed she disobeyed direct orders to protect civilians, everything she'd built came crashing down. Whispers filled the halls. Emails were exchanged in secrecy. Those who were once allies now walked past without meeting her eyes. Her uniform felt heavier every time she put it on. She'd broken a rule for the sake of human life, found standing alone before the tribunal. She wondered if compassion was now her crime. Rear Admiral Thomas Harlow, a man known for his iron spine and colder stare, now watched her from the head of the panel. Elise remembered that stare. Years ago, it terrified her. Today, she didn't flinch. Every accusation felt like a blow, each louder than the last. Insubordination, reckless behavior, undermining chain of command. They wanted it all: her rank, her pride, her purpose. Then the youngest officer at the table leaned forward and said the words that cracked something inside her. Strip her rank. The gallery murmured, some in shock, others in approval. Elise closed her eyes. She thought of her team, their faces pulling survivors out of burning rubble. She thought of the little girl she carried on her back through the floodwater. The doubt that crept in was quiet but cold. What if she'd lost her way? Harlow stood slowly. There was something almost ghostly in the stillness that fell. His eyes, once hard as steel, now flickered with something unseen. He paced to the edge of the platform, looking down into the rows of officers and civilians who had come to witness her fall. "Is this what we are now?" he asked, voice low but chilling. "Punishing courage because it makes us uncomfortable." Elise felt her breath catch. He reminded them of her accomplishments, missions she volunteered for when others hesitated, the lives she saved, the standard she set. Then came the moment no one expected. He turned toward Elise, stared at her until even she felt restless, and said, "Strip her rank. No, give her 2 more. Gasps followed, a ripple of disbelief, then something else: hope. The Admiral wasn't rebuking the system, he was redefining it. He pinned her next insignia himself, hands steady, his voice barely above a whisper. "You don't punish light for shining too bright." She felt tears sting her eyes, but she held her chin up. She would not break. He saluted her. The room followed. Even those who doubted her stood, compelled by the moment and the weight of justice finally tipping in the right direction. There was moral tension in the room, a collective question floating in the silence. Should rules be sacred if they cost innocent lives? Who decides when humanity is allowed to override procedure? Elise didn't know all the answers, but she knew the truth that got her here. Compassion must never be treated as weakness. Outside the tribunal, she walked in the open air, her eyes misted with disbelief. The sun hid her new stripes. Children played near the base entrance. And for the first time in months, she truly breathed. Not because she'd won, but because justice had finally chosen the brave. Because courage doesn't bow to pressure, it bends to purpose. And sometimes, it heals more than we can see. Because kindness doesn't vanish, it waits, and it finds its way back. And somewhere, deep in that tribunal room, the echo of her first accusation still lingers, but so does her final salute. If this story moved you, drop a comment, hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe for more powerful stories like this one. You never know whose story we'll tell next, might just be yours. Watch till the end. Your next moment of inspiration is just a click away.